Hello, folks, and welcome back. Last lesson, we looked at how we could draw basic sketches on your three planes and on other flat surfaces that we've created, and how we could create 3D prisms or shapes from those sketches that we made. Today, we're going to get a little bit more technical, and we're going to be looking at how to dimension something properly. So if you've not already got it open, what I want you to do is click on the practice session, which should still be in your documents from our last session, and you're going to see whatever it was that you made last lesson. Now, we're going to keep that, don't worry, we're not getting rid of it, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a new document inside this document. So effectively a new tab, like on your browser, like you might be able to see at the top here, I've got a tab for my emails, I've got a tab for my school documents, I've got a tab for my Onshape, for my videos. We're going to have a tab that's another product or another workspace. So all I'm going to do is click on this plus button in the bottom left corner. I'm going to go up and I'm going to click on Create Part Studio. Part Studio is just a workspace. So if we did this, we have one of these given to us at the start. This is what you see when you open a completely new document. This is all a Part Studio is. Now we've got more than one Part Studio, we're probably going to want to start naming them. So what you're going to do is right click on the one that we did yesterday or whenever you did that. You're going to go up to rename and you're going to pick a name. I'm going to pick lesson 1. As long as you know what it is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to call Potter Studio 1. Rename. I'm going to call this lesson 2. If you want to know what we're doing this lesson, we're going to be doing some dimensions. So what I want everyone to do, I want you to make a rectangle on the front face. But this time it's going to start at the origin. The origin is your center point, your central point of your workspace. So if you remember, we click on the front plane, we press N, I press sketch, and because I've already got my front plane selected, I should have nothing grayed out. There you go. I've got all my toolbar active. If it is grayed out, just click on that front plane. I'm going to click on the center point rectangle, the corner rectangle. If I hover over the center point, you'll see it goes orange and I can snap to it. I'm just going to click and drag out from the middle. And I've got my rectangle. Now, there's a couple of ways to dimension your rectangle. So pause the video until you've got that. You're not clicking the green tick yet. We need the lines to be black and blue. Without clicking anything else, after making my rectangle, if I just type a number, so go ahead, type the number 50. You will see along the side that number just types in to that dimension. If you type your number and press enter, you will see that line becomes 50 millimeters. And without clicking anything else, if I type another number in, I'm going to let you pick this number. I'm going to type 100. You will see that that automatically enters it along the horizontal axis of the rectangle as well. I'm going to press enter once more. And I've got my rectangle that is exactly 50 mil in height and 100 mil in length. And now I'm going to click the tick. There we are. Nice rectangle on my front plane. However, I've decided I don't want it that dimensions. I want to change it. But I can't do anything to it because I've grayed it out, I've confirmed. I've clicked the tick. So I need to go back into the edit mode. So over here, you've got what says sketch 1, which highlights your sketch. If you have multiple sketches, if you just flick over to the other tab, you'll see you've got lots of processes here. And as I go up or down them, you will see different bits highlight that indicate different steps or stages or sketches of my design. All I need to do to go back into the edit phase is I need to find the sketch, so it's sketch 1, and I double click it, and it comes back. Now, I've lost my opportunity now to just type numbers in and edit. Once you've drawn the rectangle, you've got one opportunity to just type a number, press enter for the height, and type a number, press enter, to set the width or the length. That doesn't mean it's fixed like that, not by a long way. we do have a dimension tool, and that is this one here in the toolbar. So it looks very much like the dimension arrows that are on the page. If you hover over it, it's a dimension tool. It looks like a double-headed arrow on an angle. All you're going to do, you're going to click that, and you'll see it grays when it toggles on. Another way to do this, and I'm going to teach you another shortcut here, you can simply press D. If you just keep an eye on this button here that's currently grayed out, I'm going to press D, you'll see it untoggles. I'm going to press D again, it toggles, untoggle. Yep, every time I press D. So I'm just going to press D so that I'm making sure that's grayed out, showing that my dimension tool's active. And what I'm going to do, now I'm in my dimension tool, whenever I hover over one of these numbers or arrows, I get this nice highlight around the number, this orange-brown box. All I need to do to edit a dimension, I go into dimension mode, I double click, and then I can type whatever I want in. So for example, I'm going to um, type 100 to make it a perfect square. And you'll see that this dimension has just jumped into the shape. It's quite nice to keep everything nice and clean. So if I just click and drag this number, I can move it anywhere up or down. I'd like to keep it central, just making sure everything's a little bit out of the way. And there I've got my perfect 100 by 100 square. There's one more trick I'm going to show you with dimensions. I'm going to do this again on the front plane, but I'm going to do it a little bit over here. I'm going to sketch, click on my front plane. I'm going to press N if I'm not already looking directly at it. And it'd be nice if you followed along. It's not completely necessary. I'm going to click my line tool, and I'm just going to make a single or two single steps. So I've got free mode. If I go down though, you'll see that it snaps to the vertical and the horizontal. So I'm just going to snap to the vertical till I get to the bottom. I'm going to snap to the horizontal. And like a staircase, I'm just going to do one step, two step, and bring it back in. Now, I need to dimension this, and this is a bit more complicated because this involves lots of different edges or different indentations. We've got this whole step that's cut away. So first of all, I'm going to press D to enter my dimension mode. I'm going to set the height to 100, and I'm going to set the depth to 100, the length to 100 as well. Now, we need to fully define this shape, and there's a few ways I can go about doing it. I want each step to be 50 mil long and 50 mil high. So, one way I can do that, I can just click these two lines and type 50 in, as long as my dimension mode is selected. And that means I know this line's 50, I know this line's 50, so I don't have to dimension it because this is 100 and that's 50. So because it's a straight snap line, the remainder should be 50. If I tried to do that as anything but 50, it's going to throw a wobbler and everything's going to go red. And I just need to click on the dimension. If ever this happens, click on the dimension and press delete, and it goes back to normal. Now, the way I want you to think about this is I want the dimension between this line and this line to be exactly 50. Now, I could just click on that and that would sort it all out for me. There's a better way to do it than that, especially when you're dealing with more complicated shapes, and that is, I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to click on this line, and I'm going to click on this line, and you will see that a dimension actually appears between those lines. This is really useful when you're dealing, and I'm just going to do a quick shape, don't get confused by this, but this is really useful when I'm dealing with shapes that might have indentations or they might be um, really quite complex. Oh, let's do that. This means I can set the distance between any two lines, so that's even this one and this one. Maybe I want that offset to be 10 mil. Um, I want the distance between this and this to be 25 exactly. Maybe I want the distance between this point and this line to be exactly 10. So I can do points and lines as well. And the more lines you click, the more that shape will take. The more dimensions you put in, the more defined that shape will be, the more constrained it will be, and the better it will take your shape. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about today is what happens if you set a dimension between a line and a line that's not parallel to it. So far, we just talked about parallel lines. Um, Parallel means they're straight against each other, they'll never meet. So this line here and this line here, they're going in exactly the same direction, they'll never meet. I'll just toggle my dimension tool on. This line will meet with this line. And similar, this line eventually will meet with this line somewhere down here if they were to carry on. They're not parallel. And what happens if you try and set a dimension between these two sets of lines is oh dear, I don't know what happened there, is you will get an angle. You see, you'll probably all have seen that curved dimension from maths that indicates an angle. At the minute, it's set to 32.228 whatever degrees. I want that to be just a nice 40. So I'm going to check 40. And what that's going to do, that should just make that angle a little bit wider. It might shift some of this to the side a little bit, shift it over here. That's all right. I'm going to check 40. There you go. That is pretty much all you need to know about dimensions. We're going to go over this in the next video as well as we move on to our next feature. But what I want you to do now is just have a go making a shape with the straight line or rectangle tool. Don't worry about circles or curves at the minute because that gets more complicated. I want you to just make a shape like the one I've done and set some dimensions. Once you've set the dimensions, feel free go ahead and extrude everything you've done again like you did last lesson, and just have a play about with that. Okay, thank you. I'll see you in the next session.